All right, hey guys, good Tuesday evening. It is just after 7 p.m. Eastern time right now. Hopping on, we had a tornado warned storm that moved towards Attica. I'm going to refresh this here just to kind of highlight the latest. But you can see we've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings right now across east central parts of Illinois and into northern Indiana. They did allow this tornado warning that included Attica to expire. But we're starting to see new storm development down here, northeast of Terre Haute, north of Highland and Rockville. And this will be the activity that moves towards the Indy metro area over the next couple of hours. So I wanted to go ahead and hop on here and give you all an update. I'll continue to give you all a moment to filter in. Be sure to share the stream, tag a friend here as we go through the forecast over the next couple of hours with this severe threat. Michael will be hopping on here with me shortly. And I think in the meantime, the biggest thing that we're going to be monitoring are just how these storms are evolving. You can actually kind of see here a couple of these storms showing some strong updrafts, some decent rotation here initially. And so certainly need to be monitoring these storms as they work towards our area. If we put the radar into motion, you can see that these have just popped up here over the past 30 minutes or so, and they continue to intensify. Across, especially the southern half of the state, a good amount of instability has built in, and that is helping fire off these storms. If we take a look, you can kind of see the core of the instability is still down here across the central and the southwestern parts of the state. So I think what will start to happen here, these cells up by Lafayette and by Attica could potentially weaken a little bit as they push a little bit to the north and to the east and get out of this instability. But note where these new cells are starting to develop here, just west of Indianapolis. That's where there's a little bit of some better instability. And so I think that they do have the potential to trend stronger. A couple of different things that we can look at here. I'm going to look at the significant tornado parameter. You can start to see that it is beginning to pick up a little bit here across western and southern parts of the state, and it should continue to increase over the next hour or so. And so these storms are getting into an environment where there could be a little bit of a more favorable setup for some rotation. And so, central Indiana, you're still very much at play here. I'm going to show you the future radar to give you an idea of how we expect these to evolve here over the next couple of hours. If you have the Clarity platform, the Clarity Home, subscription within our platform, you can access the future radar. You use these little three dots on the left and you click future and then the radar image here. And we can kind of watch as these storms fire off here over the next couple of hours. This is roughly about 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't take the storm placement verbatim here, but you can see that storm activity growing Lebanon, Crawfordsville, Brownsburg at this point. And then as we continue to go throughout the rest of the evening, you can see more storm activity expanding towards the Indy metro area by about 9 o'clock, guys. And as we continue to roll through here, you can see that storms start to get a little bit more organized by about 10. And so especially along and north of I-70, activity a little bit more widespread. Storms developing at this point across the southern half of the state as well. And you can see for the Indy metro area, perhaps the core of this moving in about 10:30 to 11 o'clock. So that has slowed down some, but I do think that there's the potential for these storms to be strong to locally severe. And yes, there is still a conditional tornado threat on the table as these move through. As we go towards 11:30, midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m., you can really start to see the intensity of these cells beginning to weaken, and that should really limit the threat the further south and east that we go. And so that's just kind of an overview of what we're going to be expecting. I see a new severe thunderstorm warning here that I want to touch on real quick, and then we may go over to a higher resolution or local radar, if you will. But you can see a new severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds. That includes Danville, Illinois. This will be activity that will work towards Covington and probably hit Attica again here within the next 30 minutes. You can see this storm here southwest of Covington really beginning to get its act together, and it's actually looking pretty strong. If we look at our hail tracks here, I'm curious if there's anything showing up. You can start to see some hail showing up with this cell. Again, not looking at substantial hail like what we dealt with on Friday, but some of these storms capable of some small to close to severe level criteria hail. And so that is where we are at right now with this setup. Again, really keeping an eye on these storms here. What these do, I think, will ultimately determine the severity as they work towards the Indy metro area. So I'm going to look through here and see if I can answer a couple of questions, given we don't have any tornado warnings in the state right now. Again, that tornado warning in Attica was allowed to expire here just shortly before we hopped on the live stream. If we take a look at the rotation tracks, you can see it moved across the state out towards Hedrick and West Lebanon, and the latest scans have been less intense with that rotation. And so that storm right now, certainly heavy. If we turn on our lightning, let me turn this on real quick and we can kind of look at the lightning. Certainly producing some heavy rain and lightning, but not rotating as things stand right now. So I'm going to go through, answer a couple of questions. I do want to pull back up this mesoscale analysis here. We'll look at the violent tornado parameter as well and see what it's showing. Still showing West Central Indiana. If we can get any activity going, there's still the potential in here for some rotating storms. So I will go through and try to answer as many questions as I can here, and then we will get back to the radar analysis. So guys, I'm not going to be able to go through and answer specifics for every single location. There's a lot of you on here asking for specific spots. I'm going to do my best to get a general idea. If you want a specific forecast for your location, I would encourage you to click the link bamwx.com/clarity packages or scan that QR code Clarity Home. Oh, Michael's here. Hello.
Hello.
You made it. You made it.
I'm here. Yeah, what do we got? Thank you.
Yeah, so just kind of monitoring right now these storms firing off here just to the west of the Indy metro area. I'm going to answer a couple of questions while we watch what these storms do. But that tornado warning that was heading towards Attica was allowed to expire. The rotation has weakened a little bit. So right now, just typical old thunderstorms in western Indiana.
I see that. Yeah.
All right. So let's see here. Northwest Indy saw no sun today. How does that affect building storms? It might limit it slightly, but I think for areas further to the north, what's really driving this right now, the low pressure system is very close. And you don't need a lot of instability when the low pressure system is that close. I think that what will ultimately happen, we'll start to get more cells to develop down here, south of I-70 even. We can start to see a couple of those bubbling up east of Sullivan, where we got a little bit more sunshine throughout the day today.
Hey, can you go, please? Goodbye. Need to look at the meso analysis. Have we vector out? What are we thinking here?
Yeah, we've got the instability has built in a little bit here. We'll go over here to that real quick. You can see north and east of Indy right now. North and east of these red lines that you see. There's not really instability. I think the storms that need to be monitored, if you remember the outlined area that we circled earlier today, kind of Terre Haute, Champaign, Illinois, south and west of the Indy metro area especially, that's probably where the highest risk would be right now based off of this analysis. Because north and east of this, there's just not strong surface-based instability. So, I think that there's a narrow corridor in here that if these storms can fire off, there's still some potential. The further north and east that you go, like these storms up here near Lafayette, they're running out of instability. And so they're not going to be able to stay surface-based to produce, I think, a tornado threat east of where they are right now.
Yeah, and two, it's almost as if we're having a hard time becoming surface-based. Getting much in the way of really getting a lot of lightning and getting established, I guess, if you will. Um, we're just going to have to see. I don't know. I don't know if it's. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It seems like Michael, when we hop on, the storms diminish, and then when we try to leave, they strengthen. So I think
Well,
somebody
Brett, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I do think that south of Lafayette, in terms of any kind of tornado risk, probably definitely south of Lafayette at this point. You can see there is a severe thunderstorm warning north of Lafayette for 60-mile-per-hour winds. So these storms to the north, even though there's not a lot of instability, there's enough wind energy here that you can get some large hail and some damaging wind gusts. Again, I think that if there's any kind of a tornado threat, it would have to be probably south of Crawfordsville, west of Fishers, I would say, and Noblesville as things stand. I'll go over to the other radar and kind of circle the area that I'm talking about. So let me.
Yeah.
But
There's
right
an
now, these aren't super impressive, Michael.
no, no, they're not. The area that would have yeah, right there. That's the area that has the best potential for this to really do anything. In probably in the next 30 to 45 minutes. If it doesn't do anything, I think by 8 o'clock, then I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
if we're going to
not.
see much out of this, but
Again, we kind of have two areas to watch here. There's these cells that are developing right now, and then there's the main line that will kind of form back here. That's late, though. That's 10:30, 11 o'clock. So then the question at that point is, how much instability is left? It would probably be more of a wind hail threat.
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much where we are at right now. Again, I'll circle that again in terms of the risk area to watch from a tornado potential. I think it's in here, Michael.
Yep.
I think that north of here you don't have enough instability. I think
Mm-hmm.
south of here you don't have enough forcing.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you can actually see down here one of the issues down across southern Indiana right now is all this rain working through along the Ohio River and into Kentucky. So there's cloud cover that's built back in. So if you're south of that line, we've got a little bit of a cap that's developed, if you will. If you remember us talking about that last week, a little bit of an inversion, if you will, in the atmosphere that may limit things over the next couple of hours south in terms of severe potential. Probably get some rain. And so you have a narrow area right now in terms of the tornado threat. Now, can there be some severe storms? Certainly. We're already seeing that to the north. We've got two severe storms here. And you can see where the tornado reports have been. But
That southern cell is strengthening a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit of lightning. Um, so
yeah, guys, so what we're doing here, we're just kind of examining these storms, seeing if they have any rotation. Typically, if you start seeing a lot of lightning in a storm, it's a representation that the storm is strengthening or about to strengthen. And so, we monitor that to get ideas of trends. Curious, real quick. Looks like some rotation here, perhaps, Michael.
yeah, I'm watching that. I'm just trying to determine if it's elevated and if it's legit and near Petersburg.
Yeah. The only issue is it's very far away from the radar, so it's hard to
Mhm.
tell if it's elevated or not.
I
It's
mean,
kind of right on that line that I drew. It's very close.
it's definitely rotation. I mean, it's just a matter of beam height. There would be Let me see. Probably 4,000 or 5,000 feet.
We need to see what the guys are seeing in the chat here, but we may need to monitor this area that I have circled heading towards Vedersburg and Hillsborough. There's rotation going on with this storm. John's seeing it too.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, that this one has our attention. It's very close to that line. Let's see, John's tagging me. Some radar contamination height issues. So they are going to. So our team is going to warn that storm, Vedersburg and Perrysville. A little bit of uncertainty on whether the rotation is reaching all the way down to the surface because the beam height of the radar beam, if you're not familiar with how it works, where it sits in Indianapolis, it shoots upwards. And so, and the earth is also curved. And so, what happens is that beam, with time, as it goes away from the radar, it naturally is higher up in the atmosphere. And so, what you're seeing on radar is actually about 5,000 feet above the surface. It's not close to the surface. And so, when we get into these marginal situations where we're trying to figure out, are the storms developing from the surface or are they developing up in the atmosphere? It makes it a little bit more challenging to tell. Regardless, based off of the rotation that we're seeing in this storm, if you were in Vedersburg, if you were in Hillsborough here, kind of along the I-74 corridor in this area right now in here, you need to be taking shelter at the very least as a precautionary measure. And so our team is sending out a custom BAM tornado warning right now. That's something that we have the capability of doing. If we ever see a situation where a storm may need to be warned that the National Weather Service has not warned yet. And so trying to give people advance notice here. So, if you want to get those types of alerts, again, you can scan that QR code in the top left. There's definitely some decent rotation in here. I think it's just a matter of how close does that extend down to the surface. Somebody said, hold the phone. The earth is curved.
Yeah, I knew you were bound to get a comment about that.
Megan's being sarcastic, but I
know.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So there's something else too. If you look, look at a radar scope near Evans, Ellettsville, just north of Monroe County. There looks to be a boundary interaction there, possibly a possible boundary lifting northward. It could have been the boundary the RRFS was picking up on that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing it on radar scope. I'm not seeing it too well on Omega, but
let me see if I can briefly here.
But lightning is growing, and the cell is stretching a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, I think we're flirting with some stuff here. We're flirting with them.
I think you can tell me if I'm wrong, Michael, but I might see a little something like kind of through here.
Yeah, that's what
yeah. Which what we saw on Friday, again, not the same type of setup, but when storms latch onto these boundaries, that's sometimes when they can rotate.
Yeah.
And so as this lifts north, we may need to be keeping an eye on this area.
There's that tornado warning up north. So
there it is. All right.
That just went active there. Did we beat them on that? Did we have that warning out first?
We
needed to, if it wasn't. But there it is. There's a tornado warning. That tornado warning is for radar indicated tornado and 1-inch hail. It's for Fountain County, southwestern Fountain County, and it's going until 8 o'clock. It's capable of producing a tornado near Covington or 15 miles east of Danville. We did beat them. Perfect. It's moving east at 15 miles per hour. It's going to go for the next 35 minutes. So they're in along Interstate 74. If you're just along and south of Interstate 74, coming up on Oh, that's like West 200 South, or it looks like South Layton Station Road. Brett, you could probably get pretty far down in there, zooming in with there near Petersburg.
Real quick, I wanted to
Take it
put
out
a
50,
time on
50
this. That's by the way, a lot slower, about 40 miles an hour slower than what we were dealing with last week. So
Yeah.
Petersburg, downtown Petersburg at 7:44, Hillsboro 8:04, Wayne at 8:23. So you can see it's taking an hour to get across the entire county, basically. So it's a slow moving storm. If we can zoom all the way in here, right down to the street level, which is really cool that we're able to do that. You can see here. Here's your hook. Here's where your rotation is. Here's your inflow. And so if there is a tornado, it's kind of West 200th South Street heading towards South Layton Station Road. And then it would head right kind of into or just south of downtown Petersburg here, State Road 136, South Corey Road. This area in here, especially, will be the highest risk for the potential for rotation and dropping a tornado down. And so, certainly, guys, if you are in this area, if you know somebody that lives in this area, tag them. If you know somebody that's traveling right now on Interstate 74, if you or somebody you know is traveling along Interstate 74 right in here, you need to be on the lookout for potential tornado and taking shelter right away. I just heard another warning go off, Michael.
It's down south. Yeah, I turned on the sound so it could grab my attention, but yeah, it's
Uh,
down. There's a
real quick.
tornado
Um,
just going into Huntsville.
Yeah, just real quick, guys. Really quick because this is a very populated area. We do have a, tornado emergency, a catastrophic damage threat heading towards downtown Huntsville. And Hope, if you're on here, if you could go ahead and throw this out on the BAM Weather Southeast page as well. I need to be posting that down there for the tornado emergency in Huntsville, Alabama. There, that's again a very populated area. So I do want to just briefly look at this for a moment. You can see the strong rotation in here. And so, if you've got friends and family in the area down here, I just wanted to take a moment because we've got a strong rotation signal, a tornado emergency down here for a very highly populated area in northern Alabama. So certainly our thoughts and prayers with them. I'll see if real quick if we can find a debris ball here. And maybe a little bit more difficult to pick up. You can kind of see lower correlation coefficient values here. Somebody says 2 tornadoes on the ground with this storm. That's kind of crazy. But you can almost see, Michael, a little hook there, a little hook there.
Yeah. Brett, real quick, I'm going to share my screen and show folks the BAM alert that was just issued. This is a BAM severe thunderstorm watch issued by our meteorologist Matt Griffin, and this is kind of the behind the scenes look because I don't have it in another way to display it yet. But we just sent a watch out to all of our clients. We believe there needs to be a watch. The NWS hasn't issued one yet. If we've got storms that are tornado warned and they're trying to develop here, it's at least worth noting we need to watch the area. But scattered storms will be possible, and wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour are not out of the question. And again, I think it's something to at least keep in mind that if you want alerts from a meteorologist, from expert meteorologists to your device, and you want to be ahead of it, you don't want to guess it. You go to bamwx.com and you can sign up for the Clarity Home Edition. All that stuff comes to you for $99 a year. And we've had people signing up for ag and business on their own as well. There's multiple levels and different access points for Clarity. So be sure and check that out because it keeps you ahead of the game. It keeps you ahead of the game, man. All these people in here are saying, they've gotten the alert.
Yeah, we issued a custom severe thunderstorm watch for the area.
Yep.
And so we issued a custom severe thunderstorm watch. I'm not sure why the National Weather Service hasn't issued anything. but we at least issued the severe thunderstorm watch for the area. So
Mhm.
that is something that we have the capability of doing, and certainly feel like it's warranted in this case.
I'm going to go back up here. This storm in Petersburg is certainly it's looking good. I mean that's very
Yeah.
very impressive rotation. So just southwest of Petersburg, the city there, coming onto County Road 100 East now. There's probably if there's not a tornado, there's a low rotating wall cloud. There's probably something on the ground here. I would have to. That's impressive rotation.
Hmm.
It's a You've got gate to gate shear of 67 plus 50, Brett. So where'd my screen go?
What'd you say? 67 plus 50?
Yeah, it stopped sharing my radar here. Let me get back. 67
100,
plus 50. Yeah,
yeah,
there we go.
117.
117
And,
miles
and
per
yeah, it's not broad rotation either. That is a very tight rotation couplet there that you're seeing. And so, if you're in Petersburg, downtown Petersburg, 136 State Road 41, and West Main Street there along Interstate 74, you need to be in shelter right away. If you have friends and family in the area, you need to be sure that you're tagging them, letting them know that there is a potential tornado moving through your area right now.
Man, look at the correlation coefficient.
Yeah, I was trying to determine, Michael, if it's the this latest scan. It doesn't look like it. I was trying to determine if it was the gap in in the radar there.
Gate to gate now is 53 and 57, still tight. Yeah, I mean West Main Street 136 coming up Hillsboro next. It's probably sped up maybe a little bit. What do we got? Let's call it 20 miles an
20.
hour just for the hell of it. Hillsboro 749. So not too far out. I mean, it's headed right that direction. So if anybody has photos or knows anybody or can ask anybody up in that area what they're seeing, please let us know. There certainly is a storm there that's rotating rapidly. Question is it dropping a tornado? We don't know. And not to mention the return just north here.
Yeah,
Um,
probably some large hail, I would imagine.
I was going to say probably some hail up there. It's a nasty color up there. So, um, all right, let's zoom back out here.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on these storms here. Developing near Greencastle and Cloverdale, they're trying to get their act together. Certainly interesting so far, Michael. All of the rotating storms have been right on the warm front.
Yeah,
Right,
man, it's Indiana for you. I mean, it's what Indiana does.
which
It's
if the warm front right now is, I'll take back over here real quick, Michael. If the warm front is draped across, based off the instability that we looked at, the warm front's right here, right? Kind of right in here, which means that as these storms move here, we probably need to keep an eye on this little narrow corridor here for
Brett.
potential.
And guys, I want to take a look at the one just south near Wallace, that cell just southeast there. Um, there seems to be rotation just southeast there near State Road 234, south of Wallace, Indiana, west of Alamo, right
Yeah, I
there.
see it.
Seems to be some beginning signs of rotation in that as well. And that's these storms probably attempting to latch on and get going here, which is what it's what we've talked about. I mean, it's just a question of exactly where is that's going to happen. But I would be curious to know: are the guys, is the team back in the office watching that? That latest scan on radar scope um, that needs a tornado warning. I mean, it's that storm's
Mhm.
it's trying. The only thing it's lacking is it's interesting. There's no lightning with it, but it's may not take much to spin here.
No, and again, the
That latest scan was not as good.
the warm front It's just these storms in this corridor here, I think will just have the tendency to want to spin
Yeah.
because that's where the warm front is.
Yeah.
I think that the ones south are struggling because the shear is just not quite as good, at least not yet. You can see if we zoom down in here, none of these that I see, Michael. Maybe watch that one, but none of these really look all that impressive from a rotation standpoint. They are starting to get some higher returns. Wouldn't be shocked if we start to see a little bit of hail in some of these, but
Man, it's interesting because there's good shear in the EHI is even a little elevated. The energy helicity index, surface to 1 kilometer, it's there. It's just, can it go? Can it go? No one knows.
but this storm here near Petersburg continues to have a classic hook on it, Michael. Just continues to look that. I mean, man, this is a really impressive. 65, 67.
Mm-hmm.
A really strong rotation couplet here, if you will. Somebody just sent us a message on Facebook. Let's see. In the area.
Small hail in Petersburg. Guys, everyone asking about all of your cities and how they're doing. Okay, and is it going to hit you and all the things? Just watch. We can't answer all the questions. There's a chance for thunderstorms tonight across the state for everybody. Okay, there's a thunderstorm watch out. You might get a thunderstorm across central Indiana. Yes, yes, yes. So, forecast radar. Do what?
Real quick, this was a picture. I'm going to share my screen here. This is a picture from Lena Kiger, if I'm saying that correctly. Let me see, share my screen. This was in Petersburg. And to me, it looks like a wall cloud. They said it looked like it was trying to rotate here.
Yep. Yep.
You can see the lowering.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there's a tornado with that, you can't tell because of the trees, but there's definitely a lowering of the base there, a pretty solid wall cloud signature. And they said that it looked like it was trying to rotate. So,
Brett, so many questions coming in about is it going to storm where I live? Can I share my screen and just
yes,
for the love of Pete, update these folks here so they can relax a little bit, guys. Here's current radar. All right, what this radar or HRRR doing decent with current radar projections. We're going to go out here to get a little bit later. Those storms are going to move east here and start to probably organize. We're watching the Indiana-Illinois state line. All right, here is 9:30, Kokomo, west of Noblesville, Brownsburg. Okay, getting down to southwest Indiana. All right, watch as we go forward here. Here's 10 o'clock. Okay, here's 10:30. So 10 o'clock coming right through the Howard, Tipton counties, Hamilton County, Marion County, Morgan County, Johnson County. A little line of thunderstorms there. Probably some winds, some lightning, some hail. There's 10:30. Okay, 11, 11:30, midnight. All right, you kind of see how it goes forward here. Just so you guys can see, yes, there's thunderstorms back there, and what we're watching is development right here near Charleston. You see that? Okay, you got the leading edge here. There's a leading edge. It's kind of two rounds for some of you, and that's what we're watching coming right through central Indiana. Okay, north central Indiana as well. There's hints down here near Mount Vernon. There may be a gap across south central Indiana where storms don't form, maybe a little bit. And then you've got what's going on down here across Kentucky and Tennessee, which is a wind event going through there. See that linear suggestion there. So that's the idea right now. Just so you all are well aware what we're watching. Okay.
all right. Let's pull back up. Here's the local radar here. Still, man, Michael, this rotation couplet has just stayed very consistent here, and it's continuing to move eastward. So now we're through Petersburg. Hillsborough is going to be the next up. I would be shocked if they don't extend this warning. Our team probably is already looking at it, I would imagine, but with the rotation couplet, I would imagine that we're going to see the tornado warning extended east towards Hillsborough along Interstate 74. Let's see, what is this? State Road 136 and State Road 341 here, south 600 east. If we zoom in here and kind of dive right into this, right along West Main Street here, which is 136, working really right into Hillsborough. Here's the hook. So your rotation is like this. Generally, your mesocyclone is what we call it, right through here. And so if there is a potential tornado, and probably the wall cloud that we showed a little bit earlier, it's in this area. And if we look at the rotation signal again, we go side by side here, you can see, gosh, very strong rotation signal here still. That's 76. There it is. There's the new tornado warning.
Yep.
So they've extended this tornado warning here all the way out just north of Crawfordsville. And I'm curious if the speed on this has been increased a little bit. Yeah, now it's 35 miles an hour is what they have on this. I was going to say 15 seems a little slow.
Yeah, latching onto a little boundary action there. It's still radar indicated, 3/4 inch hail for east central Fountain County and northwestern Montgomery County. That tornado warning is going to go until 8:15. Still no confirmed tornado, but nonetheless, it's certainly indicating the potential for a tornado. For it to produce one. So it's definitely it's a rowdy thunderstorm. It's probably got some hail. And again, we're just watching. We've had a picture maybe of a rotating wall cloud out there. So we just need to continue to watch. Again, that tornado warning is going to go here for the next 32 minutes. So if you're in the path of it, seek shelter. You've got Hillsborough 745, Waynestown 754, Elmdale. I've actually driven through there 757, and Cherry Grove 808. So another tornado warning. No low level inversions tonight, Brett. I'll tell you.
Not tonight. Not much this year. Not much. It has been a busy year, and these things have just.
You've got to know what we're saying to even know what we're saying.
Every time, I mean, to be honest, other than maybe one event so far this year, every one of these has produced something.
I tell you, it's been busy.
It's been a busy year.
And for those of you guys, scan that QR code, take a screenshot and scan it, or go to bamwx.com and sign up for the Clarity Home Edition. And you'll get all this alerts right to your phone probably before we even can say it on the live stream.
Yeah, so guys, here's the area, the immediate corridor that needs to be on the lookout for the potential tornado here. The rotation right really, again, along Interstate 74, kind of west to east through Hillsborough, and eventually out towards State Road 25. So if you're in this area, you have friends and family in this area, you need to be in shelter right away. You need to be taking this situation seriously. The storm has had a history of rotation. Also starting to get, Michael, more storm development along this boundary. We're starting to see this new storm develop here near Waynestown. And my radar is frozen here.
Yeah,
I may have you take it over.
You may have to reboot this. It's been doing that. I'll go over here. I'm gonna switch to radar scope real quick because I can just see development a little bit better with the color scale on it. But there's certainly new development trying to occur there along the boundary. And again, obviously for certain out west. All right. And you know what's interesting is it's actually doing it to me too, Brett.
On radar scope too.
I can't navigate. I can't even draw on it.
You know what's great, Michael,
is that we have our own coming here anytime.
Yes, if we can if we can spoil that, if you are a radar watcher, for local, the individual radars that we have across the country, and you want to look at all the different parameters there, you can get rid of your Radar Scope subscription, your Radar Omega subscription, and just get Clarity here soon.
Yeah, we're going to have local high resolution Doppler radar here in Clarity within no time at all. So, yeah, but certainly can see the increased storm development in eastern Illinois, and you can see the increased storm development there over, Putnam County. Nothing severe right now, but and then over there in southeastern Montgomery County too, we're seeing you're just getting thunderstorms right now, and we're just kind of watching to see what they're going to do as we continue to watch the storm. That storm there in Montgomery County, that tornado warning, that threat, if you ask me, is going to come to an end here pretty quickly. What's going to happen is this southern cell, give you a little bit of radar meteorology for the time being. It still looks impressive, no question. The rotation is right here, okay. But this southern piece down here in Waynetown, it's going to get pulled into the inflow of the storm, and it's going to alter or impact the rotation. I would imagine once this storm gets to about the Montgomery Fountain County line, it's probably going to lose that look. Okay. It's probably going to lose this. At least I hope it does. I think it will. We'll see. We'll see. Normally, when we ingest storms to the south into the inflow of the storm, we impede the rotation, and just something to keep in mind there with that. So, but nonetheless, for the time being, it's still impressive rotation coming in just west of State Road 25 here, just northwest of Waynetown. Waynetown's very small, but just northwest, if you're in Waynetown, you might see a lowering rotating wall cloud or a possibly even a tornado that briefly touches down. So,
yeah, Michael, I'm. Tell me if maybe my eyes are deceiving me a little bit, but it looks like a couple of the cells near Greencastle are trying to hook a little bit.
They are. I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, subtly. I don't see much rotation yet, but I do. The storm structure is heading in that direction. Somebody's saying Kinsman or Kingman tornado on the ground.
Kingham?
King is it Kingham? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where that is. I see Hillsboro.
I thought it was up there, but whoa. I'm looking. I don't know exactly where it's at.
Petersburg. Perrysville.
Yeah, these tricky little cells across Weston Putnam County are certainly trying to give it their best shot.
Kingman, Indiana. Kingman, Indiana. So that is that's south of Petersburg. There should not be. There's not a tornado on the ground in Kingman. There's nothing there.
No. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, nothing in Kingman right now.
Unless they're from Kingman and they're looking north.
Yeah, which very well could be. I mean, there's
possible right here.
It's probably pretty flat in Kingman, so it's certainly possible that they're just looking straight north and they can see it from there. That's not impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, they could be getting a view into that thing, possibly looking that way. And Brett, are you able to toss our images to the side?
Yes.
So it doesn't block our analysis there.
Let's see if I can make a smaller.
I mean, I think that possibly Fountain County may need to go tornado warned again, or at least toss a severe thunderstorm warning on Fountain County. Getting some impressive wind returns here, over 60 miles per hour. and an interesting signal here, albeit outflow
Yes.
dominant.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little bit messier with that particular storm. I mean, there could have been a funnel too, perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't think it was in Kingman itself. Let's see. Sirens going. I'm just reading through some of the comments here, guys.
We issued another BAM alert in Petersburg, it looks like, for a tornado warning, BAM tornado warning.
Okay, so they are seeing that rotation that we're seeing there, kind of a southeast of Covington. Definitely agree, Michael. And you nailed what was going to happen with that storm north of Waynetown. The rotation has gotten very messy, very broad there over the past couple of scans as those storms have started to interact.
Perfect. Someone said, "Can I show Alabama they have a friend down there?" Observed tornado on the ground in Huntsville. 2-inch hail, considerable damage threat. You can see where the tornado is probably located. I'll go to the correlation coefficient scan, and you can see probably where it may be a large rain wrap tornado. It's very interesting to look there. But there's an observed tornado heading into Huntsville with 2-inch hail. That hail's probably wrapped in that tornado if there is one. This is an interesting structure, but with the hail core being here, it may be getting wrapped around into this. May have a hail wrapped tornado. That's happened before. I've actually been in one. Those are terrifying. That's the situation in North Alabama right now. Going in through East Central Tennessee, you have a couple tornado warning cells just north of Manchester. That's a classic looking hook.
Yeah, I was going to say they're heading towards Morrison. It's along Interstate 24.
Yeah, yep. And then again, there in Spencer, Tennessee. So another interesting look down there. We'll come back closer to home, and we'll talk about that one there getting into Montgomery County. And yeah, you can see what happened there. It took in the southern piece and sloppied it all up. Tornado threat's gone. That tornado threat warning needs to be dropped. So Northwest Montgomery County, I think you're going to be okay in terms of the tornado threat, since that southern cell got picked up into it. So something, at least be thankful there, I think, at least for the time being. Maybe don't let your guard down until they drop the warning officially, but nonetheless, it's looking less impressive there. So
yeah, I'm continuing to monitor these cells down west of Indianapolis, and they're just not quite. They just don't want to rotate.
Mm-mm.
At least not yet, which I mean is good. We'll take it.
Yep.
They're maybe not quite to the warm front boundary, so I am still wondering if as they work towards Brownsburg, Lebanon, if they try to rotate a little bit more Daneville, but so far so good there. I do see the main line back out to the west beginning to form as well, which we'll need to monitor for potential for damaging winds and large hail as that moves through as well down the road.
Yep. Agreed. I'm going to go here to where's that new warning at? It must be, yeah, that's two at Tennessee. I'm going to pull out here and show you current radar real quick, and then so you guys can kind of see. I think what we may need to do, Brett, is pause from live until things change a little bit.
Well, you know what'll happen.
I know. At least we're going to turbo, jumpstart this. Watch the Indiana-Illinois state line. This is where a line of stronger storms can come in. Some of these storms can rotate. We're going to keep you posted on that. I want to make sure you can go to bamwx.com and you can sign up for the Clarity Home subscription and get these updates right to your device. But what we're going to do is we're going to pause here and come back if needed, and just kind of watch. I don't want to spend a bunch of time live for just garden variety thunderstorms, because we try to reserve our lives for really serious weather. So we're going to come back. We're going to keep you posted if we need to come back. And if you want the continuous updates to your device, head over there to Clarity and sign up for it. And so you get those warnings. So
Yep, for sure. We will we'll keep an eye on things. Just real quick while we have a second, give a shout out to the 811 dig that's there on my hat. Right there. Right there. Look at
Yep.
that. Right there. For sponsoring our live streams, to keeping everybody safe when it comes to safe digging this spring. And we've had a lot of severe weather, so there's probably been a lot of that going on. And certainly be safe out there if there's any down power lines or anything over the next couple of hours with severe weather moving through.
Yep. And we'll be back if we need to. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.